Hello and welcome to Chatcraft English. My name is Sophia, and today we are going to take a journey together. This journey is about learning English in a way that feels natural, simple, and possible for everyone. When you think about learning English, maybe you feel nervous. Maybe you think English is too hard. There are too many words. The grammar is confusing. I will never speak fluently. If you have ever felt like this, you are not alone. Many learners all over the world feel the same way. But here in Chatcraft English, I want to show you that learning English can be different. It can be interesting fun and not as difficult as you think. Let me ask you something. Why do you want to learn English? Everyone has their own reason. Some people want to study abroad. Some people need English for work. Some people love traveling and want to talk with people from other countries. Others just want to watch movies or listen to music in English without subtitles. Whatever your reason is, I want you to remember. This English is not just a subject in school. English is a tool that can open doors, connect you with people, and give you new opportunities. Now, many learners make one big mistake. They think that to speak English well, they must first memorize thousands of words and study hundreds of grammar rules. So they buy big books, they try to study for hours. But after some time, they feel tired. They lose motivation. They stop learning. Have you ever experienced this? If yes, don't worry. There is a better way. The secret is simple. You don't need to know everything to start speaking. You don't need perfect grammar to communicate. Think about small children. When they first learn to talk, they don't know grammar rules. They only know a few words. But they try, they speak, they make mistakes, and slowly they get better. The same is true for you. You don't need to wait until you are perfect. You can start speaking today, even with simple words. In fact, using simple English is more powerful than trying to use complicated English. Why? Because people understand you. And the more you practice, the more natural you will sound. For example, imagine you want to say, I am extremely exhausted because I engaged in excessive work activities today. That sounds difficult, right? But if you simply say, I am very tired because I worked a lot today, everyone understands. It's clear, it's natural, and it's easy to remember. So here in Chatcraft English, I want to guide you step by step. We will focus on simple phrases you can use every day. We will practice speaking naturally like real conversations. And most importantly, we will build your confidence. Because confidence is the real key to speaking English well. Let's start with something very basic but very important greetings. How do you say hello in English? Of course, you know hello. But in real life, people don't always say hello. They often use many different greetings. For example, they say, hi, hey, what's up, or how's it going? Each greeting has its own feeling. If someone says hello, it sounds polite and formal. If they say hi, it sounds friendly. If they say hey, it sounds casual, like when you are talking with friends. And if someone says, what's up, they are not really asking about the sky. They are just saying hello in a very relaxed way. You can answer not much or just, hey, how are you? Let's practice together. Repeat after me slowly. Hello, hi. Hey, what's up? Or good. Do you feel the difference? When you use these greetings, you can choose the us that matches the situation. If you meet your teacher, maybe hello or hi is better. If you meet your close friend, you can say hey or what's up. Another important part of English is learning how to introduce yourself. Imagine you meet someone for the first time. What can you say? You can start very simply. My name is Sophia, or I'm Sophia. You don't need long sentences. Then you can add something like nice to meet you. Let's try a small conversation. A, hi, I'm Sophia. B, nice to meet you, Sophia. I'm Alex. A, nice to meet you too, Alex. Simple, right? And very natural. Many learners try to memorize difficult introductions, but in real life, people keep it short and easy. Now let's add a little more. If someone asks you, where are you from? What can you say? You can say, I'm from Vietnam, or I come from Mexico. If you want to make it longer, you can say, I'm from Brazil. It's a big country in South America. Adding one extra detail makes the conversation more interesting. So let's put it together. I'm Sophia. Nice to meet you. I'm from England. I live in London. That's a complete introduction. You can practice with your own name and country. The most important thing is to practice speaking out loud. Don't just read in your head. Open your mouth, say the words, and listen to yourself. This is how your brain and your mouth start to work together. Before we finish this first part, I want you to remember 3 key ideas. First, English is a tool, not just a school subject. Second, you don't need to be perfect to start speaking. Third, keep it simple, and people will understand you. I talked about why daily practice matters, and how even small steps, when repeated, can change your English over time. Now let's go deeper into how you can actually build this habit and stay confident even when learning feels difficult. Many learners start strong, but then stop after a few days or weeks. Why does this happen? The truth is, motivation is not always strong enough. Some days you feel excited to study, but other days you feel tired, busy, or just not in the mood. If you only practice when you feel motivated, your progress will always be slow and unstable. That's why consistency is more important than motivation. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up and ask yourself, do I feel motivated to brush today? You just do it because it's part of your life. English learning should be like that too. It doesn't have to be a big task every day. Even 10 minutes of focused practice is enough if you do it every single day. One way to build this habit is to connect English learning with something you already do. For example, if you drink coffee every morning, you can listen to a short English podcast while you drink it. If you take the bus, you can read or listen to English during that time. If you scroll on your phone before bed, replace 10 minutes of that with an English video. By connecting English to habits you already have, it becomes natural and automatic. But what about confidence? Many learners tell me, Sophia, I practice. But when I try to speak with people, I feel nervous. I forget words. My mind goes blank. This is very normal. Speaking a second language in front of others feels uncomfortable at first. But confidence doesn't come before speaking. Confidence grows because of speaking. Let me explain. Imagine learning to swim. You can watch videos about swimming. You can read books about swimming. But if you never go into the water, you will never feel confident. It's the same with English. You can study grammar and vocabulary for years. But unless you practice using it, your confidence will not grow. So, what can you do? Start with low-pressure situations. You don't need to talk with native speakers immediately. You can practice by speaking to yourself out loud. Describe what you are doing. For example, I am cooking rice. I am cutting vegetables. I am washing the dishes. This simple practice trains your brain to form English sentences quickly. You can also shadow videos. Shadowing means you listen to a short sentence in English, then repeat it immediately copying the speaker's speed and tone. This exercise helps your mouth and tongue get used to English sounds, and it makes you sound more natural over time. Another way is to write short daily notes in English. It doesn't need to be perfect. Write about your day, your plans, or your feelings. Later, read it out loud. This combines writing and speaking practice at the same time. And remember, mistakes are part of the process. If you wait until your English is perfect before speaking, you will wait forever. Mistakes are not a problem. In fact, they are signs that you are practicing. Think of children learning their first language. They make many mistakes, but they don't stop speaking. They keep trying, and every mistake teaches them something new. So don't hide from mistakes. Embrace them. When you make a mistake, smile and think good. This means I am learning. If you can change your mindset like this, you will feel lighter, braver, and more motivated to keep going. Let's go back to the idea of consistency. To make English practice a part of your daily life, you need a clear plan. Without a plan, you will always feel lost. A simple plan can look like this. Morning, listen to a short English podcast while eating breakfast. Afternoon, read one English news article or short story. Evening, speak out loud for 5 minutes about your day or shadow a short video. This whole plan takes less than 30 minutes, but if you follow it daily, you will feel a big difference after 1 month. The key is not how long you study, but how often you study. A learner who practices 15 minutes every day will improve faster than a learner who studies 3 hours once a week. Small daily effort beats large, irregular effort. And here is another tip: track your progress. When you practice, write it down on a calendar or in a notebook. Seeing your progress will give you a sense of achievement. For example, if you practiced every day for 10 days, and then you miss 1 day, you will feel motivated to continue because you don't want to break your chain. This is called the don't break the chain method, and it works for many learners. Finally, surround yourself with English as much as possible. Change your phone language to English. Watch movies with English subtitles. Read signs, labels, and menus in English when you can. The more you expose yourself to English, the more natural it will feel. Consistency builds confidence. Confidence encourages you to practice more, and practice leads to progress. This is the cycle you want to create. Now, let's talk about another important secret: the power of listening. Listening is the foundation of language. Think about how babies learn to speak. They don't start by reading or writing. They start by listening. They hear their parents, their family, the world around them. Slowly, their brain connects sounds to meaning. That's how language naturally develops. For English learners listening is often ignored. Many people spend hours on grammar books and vocabulary lists, but forget to practice listening. That's why, even after years of study, they struggle to understand native speakers. Their brain has not trained to recognize the sounds of English. So, what should you do? Make listening a daily habit. And don't worry, you don't need to understand everything. Just focus on exposing your ears to English sounds. Listen to podcasts, songs, YouTube videos, or even short clips. The more you listen, the more your brain becomes familiar with English rhythm and pronunciation. Here is a simple method. Choose a short clip, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Listen carefully. At first, you may only catch a few words. That's fine. Listen again. Try to notice the tone, the rise and fall of the voice. Then listen a third time. Slowly, you'll understand more. This repeated listening builds your confidence. Listening is not only about understanding, it's also about speaking. When you listen carefully, you start to copy the natural way people speak. You pick up common phrases, intonation, and even body language. That's why people who listen a lot often sound more natural when they speak. Some learners say, "But Sophia, I don't live in an English-speaking country. I can't hear English every day." My answer is, yes, you can. Thanks to technology, English is everywhere. YouTube podcasts, audiobooks, movies, even social media. All of these are free resources you can use. You don't need to travel to America or the UK. You can bring English into your home with one click. Now let's add a small exercise. Today, after this video, choose one English podcast episode or video. It can be short, maybe just 5 minutes. Listen to it once without stopping. Don't pause. Just let the words flow. Then listen again and try to write down the main idea. You don't need every word, just the key message. This trains your brain to focus on meaning, not translation. Remember, listening is not about perfection. It's about practice. If you keep listening every day, even for 10 or 15 minutes, you will see big progress in a few months. Another useful tip is shadowing. This is when you listen to a speaker and repeat immediately after them, almost like an echo. It feels strange at first, but it's very powerful. You're not only listening, but also training your mouth to produce the same sounds. This improves your pronunciation rhythm and fluency. For example, take a short sentence like, "How are you doing today?" Play it. Listen. Then repeat quickly. "How are you doing today?" Try to match the speed, the tone, and the stress. Do this again and again. Over time, your brain and your mouth will work together more naturally. Why is shadowing so effective? Because it connects listening and speaking. You don't just learn passively, you take action. You become active in the learning process. And this active practice is what makes you sound more like a native speaker. Let me share a small story. A learner once told me, "Sophia, I listened to English every day for months, but I still couldn't speak fluently." I asked, "Did you repeat what you heard?" He said, "No, I only listened." That's the missing step. Listening gives you input, but speaking gives you output. To learn effectively, you need both. That's why shadowing is so powerful. Now, some learners feel shy about shadowing. They think, "What if someone hears me? What if I sound silly?" Don't worry. Everyone sounds strange when they start. The important thing is to practice. You can shadow alone in your room while walking, or even while cooking. Nobody needs to hear you, just you and your practice. The more you shadow, the more natural your English will become. You'll notice that your accent becomes clearer, your rhythm smoother, and your confidence stronger. And little by little, speaking English will feel less like study and more like a natural part of your life. So to summarize this part, make listening your best friend. Listen every day. Repeat what you hear. Practice shadowing. Don't worry about mistakes. Focus on building the habit. Because at the end of the day, fluency is not about learning everything at once. It's about consistent small steps. One day you'll look back and realize, wow, I understand so much more than before. And I can speak with confidence. As you continue learning English, you will notice something very important. Progress does not always move in a straight line. Sometimes you feel like you are moving forward quickly, and other times it feels like you are stuck or even going backward. This is normal. Every learner experiences ups and downs. The key is to keep going even when it feels slow. Think about climbing a mountain. At the bottom, everything looks difficult. The top seems far away. But with every small step, you are closer than before. Some parts of the climb are steep and you get tired. Other parts are flat and easy. Learning English is the same. You need to take one step at a time. One of the most helpful habits you can build is reviewing what you already learned. Many learners always want new vocabulary, new grammar, or new expressions. But if you don't review the old ones, you will forget them. Review makes your learning stronger. It's like building a house. You cannot keep adding floors if the foundation is weak. A simple way to review is to use a notebook or a digital app. Write down the words and phrases you learn. Then go back after one day, after 1 week, and after 1 month to review them. Each time you review the words, stay in your memory longer. Soon you will remember them naturally without effort. Another important part of learning English is confidence. Many learners know a lot of grammar and vocabulary, but they are afraid to speak. They think, what if I make a mistake? What if people don't understand me? But here is the truth. Everyone makes mistakes when learning. Even native speakers make mistakes sometimes. Mistakes are not a problem. They are a part of learning. So how can you build confidence? Start small. Speak a little bit every day. Maybe you talk to yourself in English. You can describe what you are doing. I am making tea. I am sitting on a chair. I am reading a book. These are simple sentences, but they train your brain to think in English. You can also record your voice. At first, it feels strange, but when you listen, you can hear your progress. Maybe in the beginning, your sentences are short and slow. After some time, they become longer and smoother. Listening to yourself helps you see how far you have come. Another way to practice is shadowing. This means you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say almost at the same time. For example, you can watch a video or listen to a podcast in English. Play a short sentence and try to copy the pronunciation, speed, and rhythm. This exercise is powerful. It helps your speaking and listening at the same time. But remember, practice should not feel like punishment. If you feel stressed, take a break. Enjoy the process. Learning English is not only about studying, It's also about connecting with people, discovering new ideas, and opening doors to the world. Now let's talk about listening. Many learners say, I understand my teacher, but I don't understand movies or native speakers. This is normal. Teachers often speak clearly and slowly. But in real life, people speak faster, use slang, and connect their words. The good news is that you can train your ears. Start with easy listening materials like podcasts or videos made for learners. Listen many times. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Focus on the main idea. Slowly increase the difficulty. Watch TV shows or YouTube videos with subtitles. First read and listen together. Then try listening without subtitles. Over time, your brain will adjust to the speed. A good tip is to listen actively. Don't just play English in the background while you do other things. Sit down, focus, and listen carefully. Repeat sentences, pause, and check the meaning of words. Active listening helps you learn much faster than passive listening. Finally, let's remember that learning English is a journey. There is no finish line where you suddenly know everything. Even advanced learners continue to grow. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Every word you learn, every sentence you speak, and every mistake you make is part of the process. So be patient with yourself. Celebrate small successes. Maybe today you understood a new word in a song. Maybe you introduced yourself confidently to someone new. These are victories. Step by step, you are building your English. We've walked through so many ideas about learning English, about building habits, about speaking with more confidence, and about finding joy in the process. Now it's time to bring all of these pieces together and leave you with a clear picture of how you can move forward step by step. Let's begin with something important. English learning is not just about words, grammar, or memorizing phrases. It's about creating a lifestyle where English becomes part of your daily world. Think about it this way. If you only study English for an exam, you may pass that exam, but your English will not stay with you. But if you let English live with you every day through listening, reading, speaking, and thinking, then English becomes part of who you are. That is the kind of English that lasts. Now, maybe you are wondering, what should I focus on first? The truth is, there is no single right answer, but there are guiding principles that work for everyone. The first is consistency. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day can change your English if you do it every single day. For example, listen to a short podcast while you walk, read a page of a book before you sleep, or practice saying a few sentences out loud when you wake up. These little moments are powerful because they build momentum. Over time, they make English natural for you. The second principle is connection. Do not learn English alone in a box. Connect it to your life. Watch a show you love in English. Write your shopping list in English. Talk to a friend or even to yourself in English. The more you connect English with real situations, the easier it is to remember and the more enjoyable it becomes. The third principle is confidence through practice. Remember, no one speaks perfectly, not even native speakers. They make mistakes too, but they keep going. Your goal is not perfection, but progress. If you say something and it's not quite right, that's okay. What matters is that you tried and you learned from it. Each mistake is a step toward becoming stronger in English. Now, let's reflect on something many learners forget. English is not a race. It is a journey. You cannot compare yourself to others because everyone has a different path. Some people learn faster, some slower, but that does not matter. What matters is that you keep moving forward. Think of it like planting a tree. At first, you see only a small sprout, but if you water it every day, it grows taller, stronger, and one day it gives fruit. Your English is the same. Daily care leads to growth, and growth leads to results. Let's also talk about mindset. Sometimes you may feel tired, unmotivated, or even ready to give up. That's natural. But the question is, what do you do in those moments? One simple trick is to remind yourself why you started. Do you want to travel more freely? Do you want a better job? Do you want to make new friends from other countries? Hold on to that reason because it is your fuel. When motivation feels low, your reason will push you forward. Another powerful tool is reflection. At the end of each week, take a few minutes to ask yourself, what did I learn this week in English? What new words or phrases did I use? What mistake did I notice? And how can I fix it? Reflection helps you see your progress, even if it feels small. And seeing progress builds confidence to continue. Now let's go even deeper into daily practice ideas you can start today. Choose one short activity for each skill: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. For listening, maybe you follow a podcast episode every morning. For reading, maybe you pick a news article or a story. For writing, try keeping a small journal in English with just a few sentences each day. And for speaking, talk to yourself about your plans or your feelings. If you do this regularly, you are training your brain to use English in many different ways. And remember, don't just focus on learning. Focus on enjoying. Find music you love in English. Watch videos about topics that excite you. Read about your hobbies in English. The more you enjoy the process, the longer you will stay with it. And the longer you stay with it, the stronger your English becomes. So what is the final message today? It is this: English learning is a long road, but it is also a beautiful road. You do not need to rush. You only need to keep walking. Step by step, word by word, conversation by conversation, you are building a skill that can open doors to the world. Every time you choose to listen, every time you choose to speak, you are saying yes to your future. As we close this lesson, I want you to remember 3 simple words: consistency, connection, confidence. Let them guide you each day. If you stay consistent, connect English to your life, and practice with confidence, your English will grow more than you ever imagined. Thank you for walking through this journey with me today. This is Sophia from Chatcraft English, reminding you that English is not something far away. It is already in your hands, ready for you to use, ready for you to enjoy, and ready to help you create the future you dream of.